Peace, peace, peace. How's everyone doing this evening? Or night, depends on the location. How's everyone doing this evening? Or night, depends on the location. How's everyone doing this evening? Or night, depends on the location. Pulling up the screen so I can see the chat. Pulling up the screen so I can see. I'm bringing just a breaking news story this night. It's kind of happened a couple of months back, but it's very relevant. And it starts as, excuse me, it says FBI is staggered to discover human bones belonging to 500 Native Americans among a treasure trove of 40,000 priceless artifacts from around the world found inside the Indiana home of a missionary after he died. It states that Indiana man Don Miller built up a vast collection of artifacts, including 2,000 bones from Native American burial sites before he died in 2015. The FBI seized some 5,000 items and returned them to their country of origin. Experts concluded that the remains found at Miller's residence likely came from ancient Native American burial sites in North Dakota. It goes on to state, Miller had willingly showed this collection to reporters, residents, and Boy Scout troops over the years, which alerted the FBI to the case in 2014. It states the FBI later learned that thousands of items were obtained in violation of entry laws and federal and state statutes. Miller went on digs around the world and bought some items home illegally. Next, it states that he worked as an engineer during World War II and carried out missionary work.
They say you sound choppy. And yes, so Cliff, he's non-melanated or lightly melanated or potentially mulatto, if you know what that means. He appears to be European. Where'd you leave our phones?
1, 2, that's clear?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, all right. Just had to push a button real quick. Started on the article part where it's saying almost 2,000 human bones from ancient Native American burial sites are among thousands of artifacts discovered in an Indiana man's home. An FBI investigation determined that the homeowner, Don Miller, may have knowingly and unknowingly collected objects in violation of several treaties and federal and state statutes. It says Miller, who died in 2015, age 90, collected artifacts from around the world, particularly during his time as an engineer during World War II and also from his missionary work in Haiti. Give me one. It just refreshed on me. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. It's on the right one now. It says, when FBI agent Tom Carpenter first entered the basement of missionary Don Miller's rural Indiana farmhouse during a 2014 raid, he says it was a jaw-dropping moment. Miller, an amateur archaeologist, had amazed tens of thousands of ancient artifacts from around the world, as well as thousands of human bones, most believed to be Native American in origin. He stated, a scene kind of unfolded in front of me, and I started seeing just row after row after row of artifacts, and floor-to-ceiling shells. Carpenter, head of the FBI's art crime team, told As It Happens guest host Susan Bonner. Clearly, we were not prepared for the amount of human remains that were discovered on the property. It states throughout the FBI's nearly 5-year investigation, Carpenter and his team have partnered with archaeologists, anthropologists, and Native American tribal officers in the hopes of returning the artifacts and the remains to their countries and tribes of origin. Now they're going public with the findings in the hopes of speeding up the process. The goal of this investigation for us has always been the reputation of these artifacts and human remains that we recovered, Carpenter said. Unfortunately, we've not reached as large an audience with our partners on this as that we hoped. Who was Don Miller? Miller, 91, was a world-traveling Christian missionary, military vet, and amateur archaeologist who was known in the community for his museum-like collection of international treasures. He kept most of his artifacts on display in a glass case at his Water Run, Indiana farmhouse, and would often invite local reporters, Boy Scouts, and other residents to come for tours, report CBS News. He was also something of a local legend, having claimed he was involved in the Manhattan Project that developed the world's first atomic bomb, according to the Indianapolis Star. He died in 2015. Furthermore, it states a year earlier, the FBI got a tip that many of his worldly possessions were, in fact, illegally gotten. In a 6-day raid of his home, federal agents found 42,000 artifacts from North America, South America, Asia, the Caribbean, Papua New Guinea, and China, and seized 7,000 of them. Miller smuggled some of those items into the country in violation of state and federal law and international treaties, according to an FBI new release. Other times, he allegedly resorted to outright looting. He told me that he got his passion or his interest in archaeology or collecting artifacts from walking the desert around Los Alamos in New Mexico and finding arrowheads and pieces of pottery, Carpenter said. That's kind of what got him hooked on it. And I think from there it just kind of grew. It states indigenous remains treated as curiosity. The collection also contained 500 sets of predominantly Native American human remains that appear to have been looted from indigenous burial grounds, Carpenter said. It's not clear whether Miller dug them up himself or bought them on the black market. The theft and display of indigenous remains has long been a concern for indigenous people in the Americas and around the world. All too often here, we have been treated as hate when it does that. All too often here, we have been treated as curiosities rather than a people. Pete Coffey, a tribal office with the North Dakotas, Mandan, Hista, and Arikara, don't want to mispronounce it, nations, who is working with the FBI. Further states, they could very well be on great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother. I characterize it as being ripped off of Earth. In 1990, the U.S. passed the Native American Graves Protection and Reparation Acts, making it a crime to buy or sell Native American remains. In Canada, First Nations and developers repeatedly butt heads when pre-settler burial sites are discovered on private or commercial property. States now the FBI finds itself far outside its wheelhouse, working on archaeology, identifying, preserving, and reparation. They rented a space in Indianapolis to house the items and hired a team of anthropologists and museum study graduate students to take care of them. It was his wish that we return these objects, it quoted. Authorities have set up an invitation-only website for tribes, experts, and international representatives to scour through the catalog findings. The bones are not displayed on the site, Carpenter said, but anyone with a legitimate claim is encouraged to contact the FBI. Some items have already been returned to governments and museums in Canada, Colombia, Ecuador, New Zealand, and Spain. On Wednesday, 361 artifacts are being returned to China, but others, especially the bones, are hardly to identify. We typically won't do DNA analysis on the bones, and that's out of respect and at the request of native tribes that we consult with, Carpenter said. Taking DNA analysis requires some invasive procedures that is further offensive to the ancestral remains, and so we're not willing to do that. We rely largely on osteological analysis, and that can only give us a piece of the picture. As for Miller, Carpenter said he expressed regrets about his exploits during his final years. It was his wish that we return these objects back to the rightful owners, Carpenter said. So I think we can discern from that, he was trying to do the right thing at the end. And that was the end of that story there. Any input on it?
Missionaries, churches, religious organizations, and American Indians. The exploitation continues. We've been talking about that over the last couple of weeks with the tribes and Catholic churches and the like, and the Indian schools, and yeah. Just continuation from what I can see.
Yeah, a couple of interesting things caught me. How the FBI agent was saying they can't tell you really who the bones belong to and who they were, and they won't do DNA analysis breaking down the bones and stuff to find out who they were. And other than that, it's impossible to tell who they were, right?
Well, it talks about the tribes that they consult with do not wish for them to do DNA testing on those bones.
Yes,
so I guess the question
they rely largely on osteological analysis, and that can only give us a piece of the picture. No, just something I pointed out, because if you're not going in doing DNA, tearing down the bones and stuff, that's basically what they would have to do. Drill through it, get core samples. Basically, the remains would be ruined after that. And the only reason I'm saying that is, so if you're not doing that with bones and stuff like that, and science in 2019, data is not good enough to tell you just by looking at it and analyzing it. That's basically what he's saying, right? I just want to make sure I get a better understanding of that part of the article right there.
Well, that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is from the standpoint of doing the DNA research, is once you open up Pandora's box, let's just say these bones are tens of thousands of years old, and they come from an area that maybe a mulatto tribe are claiming. And in order for the DNA to truly be effective, from what I understand, if they already have DNA of some of the tribe members and it doesn't match, then what? Because if you start opening that up, then how relevant is blood quantum? I'm just speculating. That's all I'm doing. So, something to think about.
Same here. I kind of seen the same thing. That's why I'm like, whoa. Then the part about the missionaries, to where I'm like, when he was going these places, ain't nobody check bags or nothing. It's not like this dude had like one or two bones. You talking over 5,000, 40,000 artifacts.
That's what indoctrination will get you. Once these individuals reach these certain titles, they have a level of authority that appears to be untouchable or above reproach because they're archaeologists, anthropologists, and they're of these sciences. You know, if someone doesn't know or has not been keeping up with it and they see these bones, let's say somebody from TSA sees it and the individual pulls out their credentials and says, you know, these are going back with me, I have authority to take them, then the TSA person probably would just let them pass. I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I'm like, 42,000, man.
Facts are Cliff. He had a museum.
Yeah, they said that he used to invite, but this is the part of the article that got me. Why it became a big deal once he passed? If this man was inviting reporters, Boy Scouts, the neighborhood, to his house on a regular basis, showing off everything that's in there.
No one checked to verify the information that he was presenting was accurate. They took him on face value because of his title, because who he was, and probably because of the amount of fame that he had. And they figured that he was above reproach. Oh, Cliff, I don't know if archaeologists are the diggers or not. Maybe somebody else can answer that. That's above my pay grade.
Still puzzled. And that's a good question. Me, and like I said, this is my guess on it because I'm not an archaeologist. I don't claim to be one. I don't personally know none at the time. I would think it'd be like any other profession like that. They'll be the main people that's sitting behind, picking out the areas and stuff, and you would have the students and stuff on the sites. Or you would have to hire help of local areas and towns out there doing the work. Then when something is found, just like how they show you, then you call the people out, they take the pictures and get credit. That's just my assumption.
I mean, it just basically goes to show that the stuff that was happening then is still happening now. And he passed when? 2015?
Yeah.
And the FBI has been doing an investigation for 5 years.
Yep, because they first found the case in 2014 when they first went to the house.
So the question, did they know already they had it and knew that he was dying? So instead of put him in jail, they waited for him to die, then break the news? That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, it really do. Especially when you're saying, oh, he wanted to give everything back. But if you wanted to give everything back, why you... Never mind, let me calm down.
What is y'all perspective? Perspective on this news in the chat?
Now let us know what y'all feel about it, because I'm like, wow, myself.
Yeah, I'm a little thrown off. He said, why you take it?
I think David Corey just had to come cool off. Peace. Peace to the chat, everyone. Peace, peace, peace. I wouldn't put it past them, Oak Cliff, because they said the first time when they came, there was 42,000 artifacts. They only seized 7,000 artifacts in 2014. I mean, so if the FBI really cared about him having stolen property, why you only take 7,000 and leave the rest?
Of course, there's more to this story than me say I.
Oh yeah, you know it got to be. Because where them first 7,000 went.
Five-year investigation.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead, so they're now just going to return him.
Just like that.
Maybe I need to be an anthropologist or an archaeologist, and I could just go steal bones, and then when I die, they could just give them back.
Mm-hmm. Collect off them. I wonder, was he making a fee off of people walking through that museum?
Probably not.
No. It's probably a part of the town, a tourist attraction of the town. Well, it would have to be if the news keep reporting on it every year. Your local news keeps showing up, but wow.
Now, the more important questions. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm still thinking here too. They were like from South America and all these places. So not only did he pick up something that didn't belong to him, how did he get it through customs? I know he ain't walked there and walked back.
I guess the more important question is, when you're getting these grants to do these researches and things, I don't think you take commercial jets. Most of the planes are privates, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're private, what is the protocol for customs for a private jet? Because you wouldn't go through the same customs process as a regular commercial client. I mean, I could be wrong.
No, you wouldn't. Depending on the airport, because you do have some people that have planes and do have private airports that are private invested, so the protocols there are different. And by him being a missionary, you do have churches that do have planes, personal airstrips for missionaries that's flying in and out of the country. I mean, that's a program that they do. They take kids from high school and turn them into missionaries and send them up. So it would make sense.
ATF all time says you don't get checked at all flying private.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay, well, there goes the answer. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't flown private yet. Oak Cliff Tiff says missionaries are supposed to be honorable and trustworthy. Well, that's how they came to the tribes originally, right? On peace, 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 and love and all that stuff.
But you need to ask, honorable to who?
That's a good question. She said, who was funding him again? Let's see. Because it just mentions he was a missionary. They don't mention the organization he was part of. Because wouldn't they be just as guilty as he is?
Yeah, because they would be the ones that's paying for him to go where he go, providing the resources. I mean, just like the one part out the article, how you just walking around somebody's house and just pick up some pottery and stuff and take it? That's like somebody just coming in your house, walking around, putting their silverware in their pocket, your plates, and just leaving. And I heard some keys stroking. You done pulled up who funding? We done found the funder.
Look, I'm muting so it won't get picked up.
Facts they recorded, where they do that at? You got to think all these trips he took. That's a lot of funding. But then again, when you under a banner of a missionary, I don't know. I've never been one. I don't know one of them either. Maybe it's in their handbook. Maybe that's part of the perks of the job. If anybody know a missionary, please let me know. Need to find out that standard missionary procedures there.
It's like difficult to pull up what mission he worked for.
Oh, I would not find that hard to believe whatsoever.
Because to take these trips are not cheap. And you got to hire people and experts to do the digging for you. And you got to get people that know the land, speak the language, they get hired.
Mm-hmm. The schools, because you know a lot of the colleges, the students do internships, and that's the field they're going in, all the studies that they're doing.
They mentioned that he claimed to work on the Manhattan Project. What's the Manhattan Project? I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
The atomic bomb was the Manhattan Project.
Oh, okay. Let's look him up.
Yeah, World War II, and they say he also went to Haiti after World War II, which is kind of funny. They said like he picked up a passion for it because he went there, got some indigenous bones from Haiti.
You're breaking up, man.
Might check 1, 2.
It's a little better.
I don't know why I keep doing that. Everything clean on this end. No, I was saying after World War II, it states he went to I-80, and the FBI agent was saying after that, that's where the guy got his passion. So basically, like I said, I could be wrong again. I'm just putting my thoughts to it. He goes there, picks up some indigenous bones from I-80 and bring them back. Because that's the first place he went.
Yeah, but how do you just do that and there's no record of who you was working for or who funded it?
No record, then lies a record.
Yeah.
So these are questions that need to be asked. Like, hold on.
No Cliff Tip says it's a brotherhood thing.
Yeah, they got their little brotherhood thing. We know.
Yeah, it probably was private funding to
Yeah, if it's coming from a church, that's private funding. Make no mistake about it. We know. Listen, we already know a church is behind it. He's a missionary. And separation of church and government. So, what the government gonna tell the church? Think about it. They knew way before 2014. They knew this man had this stuff now. In 2014, when they came, it's not like they came, locked him up, and took him to jail. They only took 7,000 items out of 42,000 items. And the only reason they're getting arrested is stuff because he died. So what's really going on? Think about it. The government knew he had it.
Now I know that the Mormon Church, they do a lot of missionary work in Spanish-speaking countries. What year did he go there? Go to Haiti?
I'm pulling it back up right now.
No, Cliff. No, Cliff Tiff. It didn't mention family or comrades. It's like he was doing it all by himself.
Yeah, pulled up a quick bulletin point timeline. It says Indiana man Don Miller built up a vast collection of artifacts, including 2,000 bones from Native American burial sites before he died, 2015, at age 91. The FBI seized some 5,000 items and returned them to their country of origin. Experts concluded that the remains found at the Miller's residency likely came from an ancient Native American burial sites in North Dakota. How? Miller had willingly showed his collection to reporters, residents, and Boy Scout troops over the years, which alerted the FBI to the case in 2014. The FBI later learned thousands of items were obtained in violation of antique laws and federal and state statutes. Miller went on digs around the world and brought some items home illegally. It states he worked as an engineer during World War II and carried out missionary work in Haiti for a period of time. See if they got any more points, because they say the majority of bones were dug up reportedly by Miller from ancient Native American burial sites. Experts conclude that the remains found at Miller's residence were likely dug up. We read that part already. See if they got any other stuff in here about him.
What was the condition of the artifacts? Were they in good condition?
Yeah, basically his house, he had them set up in his house was a museum.
Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective. In order for you to preserve artifacts that are old, you have to have your room so that it's free from a lot of things that could age or expedite the deterioration of the artifacts, right? Where would you get the funds for that from?
Exactly. Because it's not like they were just sitting around. They were in display cases, well taken care of. And then it says Miller admitted that he had gone on digging expeditions in foreign countries and in the U.S. for decades. Exactly. I mean, you just don't pick up and be like, "Hey, you know what, TMH? I want to go dig in South America." It just don't happen like that.
Right, or Cliff Tiff. The air pressure has to be right. The room has to be preserved. You're just not gonna put these artifacts in a room and just let them deteriorate. Everything has to be right. So stuff had to be built out, planned. What about zoning? Because he was basically making a museum. Who gave him permission to do that? And you know that everybody knew about it because the news was in there showing it. Right, Oak Cliff? Top-notch security. So would nobody steal what he stole? ATF said unless you get a blank check from the government. When you was probably using some local funds from HUD or something, maybe. You said he was in Indiana? Does it have an address? Probably not.
Oh, no address. Well, no, listed in the article. Yeah, he had a. Do a follow up so that way can have the pictures and stuff so you can see how he had it on display. They say it's a house, but it's included are an estimate 42,000 items, including pre-Columbian pottery and Italian mosaic and items from China. Some that Miller labeled Chinese jewelry from 500 BC.
$500 BC.
They said Carpenter added, when I first went into his house and saw the size of the collection, it was unlike anything we ever seen. Man, basically had a museum. Basically a personal museum.
What, 42,000 items?
42,000 items. Yeah,
how
he ain't
big does your place have to be to store 42,000 items on top of everything that you have?
Oh, you still got access to the to that one back chat? Because if you click on the second one, matter of fact, let me put it. I'll put it in the chat so that way they can see it. So everybody can look it up, can look at it.
It just says people who have not heard of the house on 850 West. That's all they put. They didn't put the rest up.
Yeah, I'm posting it in the chat, the article. Yeah, I posted it in the chat. If y'all click on that and scroll down that one, it actually shows you what the inside of his house looked like, so you can see for yourself. Thanks, Brittany, for posting that in the chat.
Let me see.
Yeah, please, I advise y'all, please just take a look at this. This ain't a house. It's a museum that they dressing up saying it's a house. And I'm like, David Corey, you ain't dig up nothing. You around here seizing some things and bringing it back.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, Oak Cliff City. Yeah, exactly. Like a church inside. Come on, you see the man in there sitting on racks and racks of stuff,
42,000.
items, well taken care of for decades, man. I'm like this. Where's the income coming in to pay the overhead, the electricity, the egg man? No.
Cliff Tiff said, I wonder who he's akin to. That's a good question.
We know it ain't. We know it's somebody important. I don't care what. You can't tell me no different. The resources that you would need to keep that stuff in that condition. And the FBI tells them, oh, they just finding out. There's no way in the world you just finding out about that. Like, no way.
Rush County is a county he lives in. Let me see something.
There we go.
Indiana, right?
Bring them backhoes. Yep. We got them dump trucks. Hard hats on. Going in.
What's the demographics in this? About Rush County. She said, let me put my seatbelt on.
Yeah, we gotta get to the bottom of this real quick. You just ain't gonna tell us anything and just think we're gonna be okay with it.
Do it this way.
Catch the flight, they complain about the extra pillow. This man had 42,000 items. Yeah, boy, that's how my mind going too. An amateur. I remember he wasn't even a professional archaeologist. He was an amateur archaeologist. But 42,000 is what you get for being an amateur. Woo! I should have played in the dirt some when I was a child.
So according to this, there are 48 American Indians or Alaskan Native alone, 56 Asian alone, Black alone, which we know that don't exist, 162. Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islanders alone, 6. White, 16,176. 2 or more race groups, 197. Non-Hispanic, wait a minute. 60,371. And Hispanic, 274. So why would they break it down like that? Oh, because they're counting the Hispanic and non-Hispanic as white. Got it.
Bingo. David Corey, you like me. I ain't letting that 42,000 go. Like I'm saying before, I can't get an extra pillow on the plane. How you get 42,000 items, illegal items that have to be stored? Think about it. Not only did they have to be stored in pristine condition at where he had them at, during the movement of these items, they would have to be stored like this. Air control containers, wrapped to where it's not moving around. You ain't letting nobody, man, you're not letting nobody just move them cases around and throw it any place.
Okay, so all this information is based off, so I'm gonna read this, so we're gonna tie this in.
Mm-hmm.
Notes. Detailed costs may not sum up to the total due rounding Greene County. It does not currently issue building permits, so it's excluded. Source, U.S. Census Bureau. All this information I was reading is based off of the Census Bureau. And it states that Rush County or Rushville County has the largest population. It's the largest city. Okay. It's 36% of the towns in Rush County. And the reason why I was trying to find out where it was located, to see how close he lived to a minority community, to be able to get some of the HUD funds to fix up his place so he could create a museum so they could visit. Because he did let the Boy Scouts come over, and there were
charitable events,
right? Trips.
Mm-hmm.
So he was advertising. So it was a public access facility, which would be one of the requirements for HUD, correct?
Yes, it would.
Okay, just checking.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, he stole twice.
Damn.
He stole Indians' money to build the museum. He stole Indian bones and artifacts so he can steal the money.
Yeah, so he can keep the museum.
Oak Cliff just says, Boy Scouts, grooming for the brotherhood. That's the only way he would be able to afford a place to keep all 42,000 artifacts and they not be ruined.
Yeah, and that's through the whole process of moving it from whoever you got it from, wherever you got it from, to its final location to where it's at.
And maybe that's the reason why they have only confiscated 7,000 items, because there has to be preparation to move that stuff. You just can't put it in a bag and just take it away.
Yeah, you ain't calling Mayflower over for that. No disrespect to Mayflower. But your local movers ain't moving that. You ain't even calling no family for that. What?
Peace, Golden Moon.
Peace.
Yeah, we just going over this news article about this gentleman who passed away in 2015 at the age of 91, who was a amateur archaeologist or anthropologist. And he had 42,000 indigenous peoples' bones and artifacts in his house. Some as old or dating back as far back as 500 BC. So the FBI found in air quotes. So So I'm going to ascertain that he was in violation of 2 offenses. The monies that he received to retrofit his house, to become a museum, to facilitate the stolen goods that he had, and to continue to get the funds to maintain the stolen goods that he had. He stole twice and never paid a penalty. Well, it's not like he hid the artifacts. He was letting people know about them. He just didn't tell the truth about how he got them until he was dying. I guess he found religion, pun intended. This gentleman was a missionary, but we do not know which mission, church, organization that he was being funded by to go on these trips to dig up the stuff.
And not to mention a World War II engineer.
Mm-hmm.
With reports to worked on the Manhattan Project, which is the atomic bomb. So he wasn't just any old body. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
He had credentials. So
credentials, contacts. So this is just another example of individuals using their position to take advantage of indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
Taking their resources, their artifacts, their bones, their identity, you name it, they're stealing them. And we're letting them. Why? Because we're not claiming it.
And the next thing I want to know, how are they saying that these bones, and it's no disrespect, no knock to the tribes in North Dakota, but off of reading the article, how could you say they belong to the tribes of North Dakota? When there's reports that he's going to South America, I-80, and all these other places getting these artifacts.
It's a great question.
There's nowhere it mentioned that he was out there in North Dakota digging, taking bones. He's in I-80. He's in South America. Mm-mm. And to be honest, this is one time I wish they would let them do the drilling for a DNA test on that. But I'm like you. Are they afraid that we'll open Pandora's box? Because in order to do that, you would have to take samples from the people that's out there now. And like you said earlier, what happens when they don't match up?
How much an effect on blood quantum would it have? So
Could that be why these 42,000 items that's kept in well pristine conditions didn't make a big good impact story? Because that's a major theft. They say the value of what he had, it's insurmountable when it comes to dollars. So the one thing I know, a struggling person ain't sitting on a collection like that.
no.
But best believe we're gonna do some more digging. We will be having a follow-up.
So I'm reading another article, and I think you've already touched on this, but it's something that's bothering me. It says Miller, who died in 2015, was 91 when agents first knocked on his door in 2014. So they knocked on his door when he was alive. because he didn't die in 2015.
Uh-huh.
But they knocked on his door in 2014.
And only left with 7,000 items out of the 42,000. I'm like, huh? Okay, so if you know all 42,000 are stolen, why you only...
So here's a quote from the anthropology professor, Larry Zimmerman. He says, and I quote, "I have never seen a collection like this in my entire life, except in some of the largest museums." What's the square footage of some of the largest museums?
Let us know. Any info.
There's a museum on the Upper East Side of New York, and it's the largest art museum in the world. It's 58,820 square feet. And it has more than 2 million pieces of artwork in it.
Brittany is posting the link to if you want to see where it shows you the picture of the size of it. So if anybody want to see the collection, it's posted in the chat. Yeah, when you see the picture, you can tell it's the size of a museum. They got the picture with him, and that's the thing. There's pictures of him in there with all this stuff. Who's taking the pictures? So you trying to tell me this man stole 42,000 items? You know it, but when you get there, you only take 7,000 with no intention on returning anything else. Because what the agent said is on the guy's deathbed, he said return everything. So they was not even trying to get the stuff back from him. David Corey, you know this a hard hat zone. Because think about it, if he don't pass in 2015, well, he's still sitting on what? 37,000 items?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so what's their explanation for just taking the 7 and leaving him with the 32,000? I mean, that's puzzling to me. If you're stating that it's stolen property.
Okay, now we get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
A picture. There's a picture of him standing at a new church construction at Delma 75, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. What year was this?
Yeah, that had to be, I remember it said after World War II, he did missionary work there.
Delma 75. Is that the name of the church?
It was 35,000. Yeah, left him with 35,000.
So that's the area. So let's look for churches in Delmar 75. Looks like there's how many churches? Okay, so the name of this church is Iglesia de la Comunidad Evangelique, and it's located at Delmar 75, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. What can we find out about this church? I'm gonna need English. It gives it to me in Spanish. So how do you change to English?
And trying to see if I can pull up on them real quick as well.
Yeah. Because apparently this was a church that he helped build. Why is it not giving me English? Go back to
I pulled up something say Don Miller, the son of a Rush Country farm family who developed a lifelong adventurous streak. So he's the son of a Rush County farm family. See if I can pull up a little bit more.
This is crazy.
It states news reports in the aftermath of the government seizure were awash with tales from those who had seen his collection, which reportedly included Aztec figurines, Ming Dynasty jade, and an Egyptian sarcophagus.
What? A sarcophagus?
Miller never faced any charges related to his collection. No lawsuits were filed against him in the years since the seizure. In his final months, townsfolk told the Indianapolis Star he had disappeared from public life. Let's see what else I can.
Said his grandfather is German, Henry Miller, 1750 to 1800. Whoa.
Thanks for that, Oak Cliff Tiff. Bet that up. Okay, found a little more on him. It says in a 1998 interview with the Star, Miller said he searched for arrowheads on his family's farm as a boy. After college, he joined the Army Reserves, where he said he was stationed in New Mexico and assigned to work on the Manhattan Project, the top secret research team that developed the first atomic bomb. It said Brownsburg resident Rick Bolt, 61, recalled working with Miller at the Naval Avionics Center in Indianapolis during the 1970s and 1980s. Bolt, who was fresh out of college when he met Miller, a senior consultant, describing him as a friend and a mentor. It goes on to say Bolt said Miller spent his vacation days in far-off locales and would return from overseas with hair-raising tales of capture by Libyan military units and a stay with his wife in a Mexican jail.
What the?
I'm finna keep digging. Be right back. See what else.
The only way that you can get out of those jails is either buy your way out, or the government negotiates you out. And I mean, did anybody ever hear about an anthropologist being in jail and somebody getting them out? I'll wait. It's crazy.
It says funeral arrangements. This was at the time of being held. They say he survived by his wife, sister-in-law, 5 nephews, and 2 nieces.
The church that he must have built must have been the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption, because it was destroyed and then rebuilt. Well, it was destroyed in January 12th, 2010. So what church replaced? Reconstruction. In March 2012, the Archdiocese of Port-au-Prince, in collaboration with Faith and Form magazine and the Institution of Safeguarding of National Heritage, a Haitian government institution, launched an international design competition inviting architects from all over the world to submit ideas that would inform the reconstruction of the cathedrals. So a Puerto Rican architect, Segundo Cardano, won the competition.
I got something deep here.
What's up?
Okay. Strap in, everybody. Double seatbelt.
Uh-oh.
Don and wife Sue Miller were very active in their local church and foreign missionary work. From the 1960s into the late 1980s, then becoming short-term consultants for the construction missionary trips abroad. The couple was so serious about their missionary work and giving out Bibles to the locals that they organized Building for God International in 1979 in order to take advantage of America's tax exemptions, write-off, and religious traveling expenses. They also would host in their home pastors and their families from the foreign church congregations they had built. Yet with so much concern about reaching international people in foreign lands with their personal ideology and controversial belief system, Don and Sue seemed completely oblivious to the ethical and moral, let alone implications of filling their Waldron, Indiana home with precious sacred artifacts and remains. Let me see if I can get this in chat real quick.
When was that article put out? Was it before 2014?
Yeah. No, let me double check. Let me make sure.
Can you hear us okay, David Corey? You said a mic check. You sound all right?
This article, the article is posted from March 6th, 2019, but it's it got excerpts from different pieces from local papers and stuff. I'm posting it on right now. I'm having someone post it.
Peace, Mark.
Yeah, I posted it in the chat.
Popping it was still in two.
Yeah, the name of the organization was Building for God International in 1979. And then we stayed about using, HUD funding and special funding because they were in particular areas.
Mm-hmm.
It states it right here in 1979 in order to take advantage of America's tax exemptions, write-off, and religious traveling expenses. They also were hosting their home pastors and their families from the foreign church congregations they had built. So they were leaving and going places, not just going to visit, setting up physical churches. I mean, you have to have some type of ties to have foreigners coming over for religious services in your living room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just ain't putting a flyer out Sunday service and people from France and Haiti just coming over. I don't think it's that easy. Now, I could be wrong now, but
like I said, he knew where to get these items. Right. And what happens when you go and build on a land? As you're digging, you come up with what? Artifacts.
Yeah, building these churches and all that. That last link that was posted in there, if you scroll down, there's a video of them going through the museum. I'm not even gonna sit here in front and call it no house no more. It's a museum, man. It's a straight up museum. It's 6 minutes long. So in your downtime, anybody can just go click on it and watch it. It's on that last link that was posted. Sarcophagus in his house. Who just can't?
You break it up all. David Corey said that's some 501c type stuff. So let me break it down to you like this. Like I said earlier today, you're indoctrinated if you think tribes are businesses. You are aware, if you know, businesses are tribes. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. The question you need to ask yourself, what do they have in common? What they allowed to do? What are they not allowed to do? So let me help you out a little bit. I'm gonna put this link in here. Hold on. We need to break some spells here. When y'all get a chance, click on that, and then you'll know exactly what a 501c is and what a 501c is not. You'll know what a 501c can do and what a 501c can't do. And then you'll understand, maybe, why I said people that are indoctrinized thinks tribes are businesses. People that are aware know businesses are tribes. Tax exemption is a status that any entity, whether it's LLC, limited liability partnership, LLP, S Corp, C Corp, trust, any of these entities can be tax exempt. And by law, you are not required to state that your entity is tax exempt. By law, you're required to file your 990 form, which is equivalent to a personal 1040 or 1124 S Corp. For C Corp, or 1120 S for S Corp, or 1065 for LLP or LLC. Why is that important? Because people are under the misunderstanding that you don't have to file taxes. If your organization is set up right, the question you need to ask is, do you need to pay tax? Something to think about.
Mic check 1 2.
Got you.
All right.
So here's the thing that we need to think about. With so many individuals, especially in the conscious community or the indigenous community, trying to pull you away from 501c's, the question you need to ask yourself is, why? When the original 501c are our tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Commerce did not come until after the colonizers came over here, saw our process, and made it a for-profit entity as opposed to a non-profit entity.
Tell them.
We always had non-profit entities. If you do the research, and I dare you, look at the constitutions, the way things are set up, the way we were trading. Where did the excesses go?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't deal in money. We dealt in property.
Yep.
Don't get it twisted. David Corey said, could you possibly come again? What do you need, David?
fact that a 501c and a tribe
are the same.
Don't got to take our word for it.
Your tribes that are up for federal recognition must be a 501c.
Bingo. Don't they all have constitutions and bylaws?
And one of the many reasons why a lot of these tribes are getting turned down is because their constitution and bylaws are not set up correctly. There are things that are missing or omitted from them. Cliff got a hand up, I guess.
Don't a corporation have a CEO, right? I don't know if you mentioned it because I had to log back in.
No, I didn't mention it. I'm gonna let you mention it.
Oh, okay. So companies have a CEO. What is a CEO short for? Chief Executive Officer. How is a chief executive officer normally put in place? Voted in? Don't these corporations have a board to where you have your CFO, COOs, the different people that sit here to make decisions on the functions of this company? You have the people that sit on there that decide on the basic functions of the tribes. And they're voted in by members in the company, right? And in the tribe, the members of the tribe vote these board of directors and stuff in as well, right? What's the difference again?
Perception.
Ha. There you have it.
They just took what we did and commercialized it. That's it. So there are people trying to tell us to stay away and get away from who we are. Good luck with that. Remember, the land has classes. There's a roll call for every class.
Yes, it is.
If your name ain't on that roll, you don't belong in that class. I.e., if your name ain't on that roll, you don't get access to that land. Why do you think they call it a roll? Based off of what?
Oh.
Your surname. So go ahead and buy you some land that you already know is stolen. Put it in a trust. Create, invent, make up, fabricate a fake tribe. And then let there be a roll call and find out your name ain't on it. And see what happens. You might end up with some uncomfortable hand bracelets. You and your tribal members. Because they're not on that roll call. This is not a game. The politicians, the people in power, they are already tied into their tribes.
We've been dropping certain stories for a reason. 2 weeks ago, and even a little before that, we TMH hinted at the NFL and their bylaws.
You do this. You keep talking, I'll go find it.
And how it's set up. That even the Supreme Court of the land can't touch them because of how their bylaws are set up. Nobody pays attention. NFL can have any type of criminal playing in the NFL. And what can anybody say or do about it? All you have to do is really dig and look. Stay away from the romanticizing. Stay away from the polishy stuff. Actually look and see at the application of this. See, knowledge means nothing if you don't know how to apply it. Study and see how it's applied. It's the same thing. It's our ancestor system. And turned you against it so much to make you hate it that you never paid attention to it. Why do you think there's so much spent on keeping us distracted? So we would never pay attention and realize, hold up, that's my granddaddy stuff. Hey, that's his system. Man, let me get back to minding our business. Like we keep saying, mind your business, because a tribe is ran like a business. And if anybody telling you any different, show it. Go out to one of these tribes. It's ran like a business, designed and structured like a business. No, let me rephrase it. Business is designed and structured like a tribe, because the tribe was first. But don't take our word for it. This is big business here, relatives, and we need to start minding ours.
How much was the NFL bringing in? Hold on.
30 billion, 30.3 billion a year? No, 13.3, I think it was. I think No Sellout know the number better, but I think it's like 13 billion something. And it's a nonprofit organization. Ugh. Look it up. Relatives, that's why Tonkiness Assembly is here. This is the gathering of the minds where we're going to get this work done as a unit. We don't have time for games. We don't have time for the entertainment. We don't have time for the gossip. He say, she say. That's why we stuck in these conditions now. Even through the Joseph Branch story, now you can start seeing when we tell you that these tribes were conducting business with foreigners and making deals to remove other tribes to put themselves in better position for business. The Iroquois stated they wanted to control what? The fur trade. It always been business.
What was once a nonprofit entity got moved to a for-profit entity and replaced by a nonprofit entity. Moved them out of nonprofit into commerce, and then took over their nonprofit spot, right in front of their face. So just so you don't think I'm playing or I'm making stuff up, more of the purpose and objectives for the NFL, it says to promote and foster the primary business of league members, each member being the owner of a professional football club located in the United States. B, to do and perform such other functions as may be necessary to carry out the purpose and objectives of the league. The league is not organized nor to be operated for profit, but they're projected to be worth $25 billion by 2027.
And what's the catch of a nonprofit? Because a lot of people think nonprofits can't make profit. Yes, you can. That business just not allowed. The NFL as the entity, they not allowed to take that money into the next year. but they can pay it out, and employees, these unnecessary bonuses. When companies ain't doing good, but they giving away $100,000 bonuses, why do you think they have to get rid of the money that must be spent by the end of the fiscal year?
Why do y'all think the government operates like a nonprofit? What happens when it comes to the end of the quarter? Don't they have to spend all that money, or they don't get any from the next year? Same setup.
Where them hard hats at? Let's go. Stay away from that stuff with the flashy lights to feel good, to look good. That's why we here now. It's time for us to wake up, and not wake up and be proud because we won't. No, wake up to get to work. You watch every day how they profit off our ancestors' system, and got us so mind twisted that we're complaining about participating in our ancestors' system and wondering why we don't got nothing. I keep saying it because everybody else playing but us. When I mean playing, whether you move or not, your hand gonna be played. So if you ain't playing your part, they gonna play your part. Make the decisions for you. Decide where you gonna go. Decide what the ceiling is for you. Haven't you been seeing it your whole life? We just getting started, relatives. We got work to do. We got a lot more to uncover. Because like we said, we all got a hand in this. And we all got to put our hands in to fix it. Make it right.
At the end of the day, David, people have been trying to tell us this. We just haven't been paying attention. We haven't been listening. The message didn't come right. We didn't like the wrapping that it came in, or what have you. Somebody was wearing a suit and tie, told you didn't want to hear about it. Somebody may have been wearing a dashiki, you didn't want to hear about it. I mean, the information has always been here. We just don't want to hear it. So we're just as much to blame as they are for kind of, sort of, not really hiding it. Why do you think they made a big deal about Tom Brady not being able to release his suspension and taking it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court denying it because there was already a process in place?
Mm-hmm.
See, we pay attention to the wrong news, or our attention is misplaced. Right, David? Too busy being entertained. We went from being producers to consumers.
One more time, my brother, one more time.
We went from being producers to consumers.
If y'all don't see it, our ancestors were manufacturing and growing their own stuff. To now, we don't grow or manufacture nothing. We are the 9th largest spending group on the planet. We had a capital, we had the finances. That is not our problem. We need to start minding our business, getting back on code, get the foundation right. It's always been in our face. You wonder why people come in this country and call us lazy? You really want to know? Because these same mechanisms that's here. This is what they're taught when they coming into this country. Why do you think they're in our neighborhoods with grocery stores, all type of shops? It's always been in your face. Really look and notice. Since we talked about the NFL, relatives, can y'all answer me this? Why are all NFL stadiums in the hood or close by one? Anybody got an answer out there? Anybody, get a shot.
Hey. Cutting a little too deep, don't you think?
Anybody live in Atlanta? Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Why did I just say that all on mute, Thomas? Just say that on mute. I was like, we were looking for Martin Luther King house where he lived, where he grew up at. Bruh, come on, son. You ever rode by that stadium? Anybody?
Huh?
Anybody?
No sellout. We was up there probably, 2 months ago?
Yep.
Have you been there?
That's when I seen it. Well,
No, David Corey, go deeper than write off in taxes, my brother. You warm, but it's deeper than that.
Talking about a whole act.
Yes, a whole act. Y'all want to dig? Let's dig. We ain't here for playing.
Not for pretending.
Ever ask yourself why Walmart makes sure they align closely to our neighborhoods? Come on, wake up.
Deserts.
Business.
Corporations are people, my friend.
Yeah, Oak Cliff Tip. Yeah, Doodle Vision. Dig deeper than Atlanta.
David Corey has more to do there than we spend the most.
No, we ain't the one in them skyboxes, y'all. Come on now. Let's go. We ain't the one. We financing it, but not that way.
Has anybody ever asked where they're getting this money to set these organizations up in our neighborhood and they're not in anybody else's neighborhood? David want to know bad.
And another mind blower. Explain to me why at the same time America got soldiers back in the 1700s, 1800s, fighting in China in opium wars.
David, at the end of the day, it's about money that's supposed to be appropriated for us that someone did not tell us about.
Facts. Go back and study 1968. Really study.
Cliff says you're taking me too. Oh, Cliff just says you're taking me too fast, Bones.
I'm sorry. Sometimes, talk a little fast. We can slow it down for you a little bit.
Why is it that the majority of the nonprofits that we as a people have are churches? Like that's the only 501c we can start. And if you click on that link, you'll see that there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There are over 40 501c's, but we only know about the churches. And the churches are the only ones that are not required to file a 990. It's not a guessing game, Corey, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This is, 68 King. You're getting somewhere. You're getting close.
Yeah, getting close. Like I said, it's mind-blowing, mind-blowing. That's why we say again, a lot of our conditions, a lot of the ways we grew up did not have to be this way. That's why we have to get on code and get back doing our due diligence. David wanted to say on with the vegetables.
Chris just said sound like a game.
Nah, nothing like that.
How about we do this?
What you got in mind?
Think about this. Numbers were discovered and not invented, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a section 8, how many other sections are there?
Come on now. We can't make it no easier. Y'all asking us to do it for you now.
Hold on. It's midnight for oh my goodness.
Go to Moon said, Martin said we're going to get our check. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did.
What check was he talking about?
What check was he talking? Yeah. That's why we say go back and read them acts. Really read the acts. Don't skim over them.
And then you'll understand why this information that we have to help the Indians and the tribes is so sacred.
We are here with a purpose, a mission, and an end game. We don't have time for playing. Go back and study 1968. Martin Luther King. What he really marched for.
And like I said, numbers were discovered, not invented. If there is a section 8, how many other sections are there? And why do we only know about section 8?
All right, you giving up the game now.
No, you're not. I mean, that's public information.
Yeah,
Right.
That's public information.
Well, I know. Don't I know it?
David Corey writes to the Indians.
David Corey guessing that it's 7 sections. Is it 7? I don't know. You tell me. But why would a section start with 8? I'm just asking.
I mean, I don't know no sections that we start with that.
That's how indoctrinated we are. We take things at face value. We don't do any cognitive thinking.
I'm gonna say it like this. We gotta start addressing the elephant in the room, relatives. It's right in front of your faces. It's always been in front of our faces. But so much time being entertaining and trying to be Europeans because we have a colonized mind state, we miss it. Everything we're quoting and telling you is public knowledge. We just don't know as a people.
Yep. Even immigrants know about it. That's sad.
Yeah. Why you think they're in your neighborhood? That's why we quote again, do your genealogy. Find your tribe, tie back into your tribe.
I just told you.
We told you, David Court. We told you.
You do know what Section 8 is, right?
Mm-hmm.
What department is that?
And lap.
No, I mean, we telling you. We can't make it no more easier.
Let me do this.
Yeah, don't try to find out through the chat. Just do some research. That's all. That's all we saying.
I mean, if you type in Section 8 online, all the information will come up.
Mm-hmm.
Take it to, you'll go to the website.
I mean, what more you want? We telling you, we point at it to you.
Thank you, Golden.
Thank you, Golden Moon.
Thank you.
Y'all better get y'all Carmen Sandiego on.
Mm-hmm. Our ancestor didn't lose his life in vain. A promise was kept. Now we got to keep our end of the bargain and get back on code. I don't know how many times we can keep saying it, but we're going to keep saying it. If you want to feel good, don't come here. If you want drama, don't come here. You ready to get some real work in, make some real changes? Come ready with a hard hat.
David Corey said, urban development. Close. Close.
You medium right now.
So, any closing remarks?
All I'm going to say is do your genealogy, know your lineage, find your tribe, tie back into your tribe, and we will help you help your tribe. We're going to keep telling you this. Got no time for the games.
Anything you got to say, no sell out? David Corey fishing hard. It ain't about vouchers, David.
No.
8 is one number. There's a lot of other numbers besides 8.
Right about that.
Yeah.
Can't all be about Section 8. But yeah, man. Closing remark. Peace, y'all.
I know you
No,
fish.
so visit the website. Check
Go
out
visit
what
the
we're
website.
doing. Do your genealogy, tie back to the land. If you don't know why that's important, email us at unconsciousassembly@gmail.com. Visit the website, www.unconsciousassembly@unconsciousassembly.com. Sorry, www.aau.world. Yeah, like I said, if you have any opposing views or don't know why we're doing what we're doing, just email us or ask us in the chat. Ask us live. We'll tell you. We'll let you know. Peace, y'all.
Y'all can hit us up. You can also hit us up and sign up for the newsletter to stay informed on what's going on at the website as well.
David Corey said, y'all ain't gonna tell me. We just told you.
Hey, hold on. Hey, hold on. hold on. I got to fight to him right now.
What up, Nino? Hope you're doing well, brother.
What? Am I late on this? Where Nino at?
No, he just shot him. Golden Moon says, "I'm gonna find out." That's a goal to find out.
Golden, you were good. You just keep digging.
Yeah.
Peace. Okay, I see it. My chat is late.
Like I said, he gave you the website. Go. It's public knowledge.
Yeah. All you gotta do is run this back too. Just run it back. You gotta get off the air. Just run it back. All your clues is there. Ain't nobody. We ain't playing no games or nothing. It's there.
Oh, we telling you.
Like TMH said, some of this stuff is sacred. So you do your due diligence.
Yeah, you'll understand why we have to take certain positions, because we are here to uplift the American Indian voice and make sure that the American Indian and the tribes become self-sufficient. That is our mission statement. That's why we do what we do. And we are a nonprofit organization. We're not just telling you, we're showing you in real time as well.
Yeah. Phoenix Moon also mentioned something about it in one of her chats. I know a lot of y'all subscribe to her, so come back and check that out too. Shout out to Phoenix Moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out for that.
This ain't a game, y'all. So for those that are trying to lead you away from setting up entities because they don't want you to be a part of entities, they basically tell you not to be Indian. That's what they're telling you.
Yeah, tell you not to tie into your tribe, not to do genealogy, start your own, taking you further and further away from what your ancestors, what your current ancestors in the 60s going into the 70s put their life on the line for. But you want to say that you respect them.
You don't respect them enough to do a constitution. You don't respect them enough to do bylaws. You don't respect them enough to have somebody elect to call you chief. You respect them so much, you're looking at and scheming on ways to take land that does not belong to you, but belongs to some other ancestors. But you respect and love your ancestors. Tell me how that's possible. When you violate every tribal law and action with your actions. I'll wait. How's that respect? Show me in any constitution where taking somebody's tribal land and put it in a trust is a thing that Indians do and have done. See if a tribe or a chief will sign off on that. There's over 1,000 of them. All you gotta do is find one and ask them. I dare you. Unless you're scared. With that, I relinquish the mic.
I guess on that note, like we always say, it's always fun with the relatives. Another great, great, great moment. Looking forward to seeing everyone in the Rising where we pick up. Until then, peace.
Peace, y'all.